Hey everybody, can you hear me now? Third time's charm. Keeping my fingers crossed. Let me know if you can hear me. Sorry this is taking so long. Let me know if you can hear me. Hello, Mary. Yes, you can hear me? Yay! This is good. Okay. Let's get some people in here. How about that? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Because we're going to talk about perfectionism. We all need a little attitude adjustment when it comes to perfectionism. I had to reboot my phone. I checked to see if there were any updates on the app that I use to get on Facebook, and I didn't find any. So we're good. So let's talk about perfectionism. Now, many years ago when I was trying to get organized, thank you everybody. When I was trying to get organized, I realized right quick that I had an issue. And that issue was that I didn't know how to use a calendar. I had read books by Rita Davenport, which was saving time, saving money, or something of that nature, and you can do a search for her books. I listened to her audio tapes where she used a day timer. And I thought, well, I'll buy me one of these $100 day timers with all these inserts and have to flip things around. And it was just a little bit too much for me. Then I didn't know what to do. So I thought, well, I'm not going to spend any more money because I'd probably spent thousands of dollars on calendars over the years just trying to find the right one. Well, you know, when you're sidetracked, you're not taught how to use a calendar. It's just not something that is taught these days or even way back then. It just, nobody knew. And a few years ago, I was doing the largest speech I'd ever given in my whole life in front of an audience of 10 or 12,000 people in Salt Lake City. And I was the afternoon keynote speaker, and the morning keynote speaker was Dr. Stephen Covey, God rest his soul. And he called me to his dressing room at lunchtime, and I was going to go on at 1 o'clock. And he called me to his dressing room, and he said, "Okay, Fly Lady." And this was so funny. He said, "I need you to tell me what it is that you do." And I said, "Well, Dr. Covey, it's like this. Once they graduate from using my calendar, they can understand yours." And he just laughed. He was so funny. And it was kind of a special moment. It's one of those good memories. But now I've come up with a way to make a calendar. See, I didn't like my own handwriting. It was the problem. I didn't like scribbles on a calendar. And if I got those little calendars that you had to open up and you had to write in these little lines, it drove me nuts because I have a big handwriting. So I would use, I'd have my control journal on my kitchen counter. I had a little sheet of paper with a to-do list for that day, just things that had to get done that day. And then I had a little calendar, which had the same problem. And I soon realized that I needed a big calendar with large squares that would accommodate my handwriting. Imagine that. So, over the years, we have developed a calendar that is large. And this is our this year's calendar. Starts in August And I thought I would give you a lesson in how to get past your perfectionism when it comes to calendars. Because none of us like to see a bunch of scribbles up on the wall of our handwriting. The problem with the big desk calendar is that you have to fill in the dates, and then you forget to fill in the dates, and all of a sudden, things, it just causes problems. It causes problems. So, we came up with a calendar that has huge squares. Let me get it up close so you can see how big the squares are as compared to my finger. You see? And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. 8 lines in it. Now, the remedy for my messy handwriting, number 1, was to print. And number 2, not to ever put it on the calendar, but to put it on address labels. So I've done some examples for you. In our immediate family, it's just me and Robert. That's it. It's just me and Robert. But I've done not a fictitious family because it's my family, but I've spent this morning coloring. We all love to color, but I did it with highlighters. So you can see we've got Mom and Dad and Justin and Emily and Ethan and Sarah. And then the red is for things that the whole family has to do. Whole family. Everybody's going to be there. Nobody can say, I'm not doing that. So I colored these. And these are Avery labels that are 8167 Avery labels. 8167. So, it's got 4 labels, and I think it's got about, I don't know how many it's on the sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's got 80 labels. 80 labels. Now, the beauty of this, we've color-coded it per family member. And in case you don't remember what the color is, I made a legend that can go at the top of every calendar. Or you just write it in and highlight it. But you get the legend, and you can, clip it to your calendar with a little bulldog clip or some scotch tape. It doesn't matter. But have the legend on so everybody knows whose color is what. And you could pick colors that are favorite colors to the family. Justin's favorite color is orange because he likes the Tennessee Volunteers. Some people like, purple. Anyway, that's what I did. I colored these in. Your kids could color these in with a marker. Now, you can use a highlighter on your calendar, but we do not recommend using a Sharpie on your calendar because it'll bleed through. Now, we got really good paper in this calendar, but Sharpie will bleed through. You can use gel pens. You can use colored pencils. Some people just use pencils and erase. Others kind of need something bright. That's me. So you can write actually on this itself what it is sitting on the counter when your hand is steady. Sometimes your hand's not steady writing on the wall. And you just pull the label off with the writing on it, and it fits right on the calendar. It's just the right size. This 8167 are just the, need I say, perfect size for the calendar? Yeah, that's what they are. Now, this really works whether it's hanging on the wall. Now, let me talk to you about people complain that they can't take their calendar with them to the doctor's office. Well, I have an answer for that. My answer is pick a day that you're going to do doctor's appointments unless it's an emergency. Like for me, I always do hair appointments on Wednesday. Wednesday is always my anti-procrastination day. And I have to do a haircut every month. So I've decided that on the last Wednesday of every month, I'm going to make a hair appointment. And for the next 6 months, when I go to Teresa, my hairstylist, I'm going to get that day. And I like the time 2:00 in the afternoon. So pick the day that you like and schedule them. Get them done. Other days that I do things, my dentist is only in the dentist office on Tuesdays. So I make all my dentist appointments at 2:00 on a Tuesday. So my cleanings, any work I have to have done is on a Tuesday. I don't like Monday appointments because the weekend and get up in the morning and I have to remember that on Monday morning. No, I'm not going there. I know me. As Michelle would say, I live with me every day. So, you see that heart on there? Guess what that is? That's date night. And it's a little removable heart. You can move it from one day to the next. One Friday to the next. And that's a fun way to, schedule something. Get it on the calendar and put a heart beside it. Kathy uses this calendar to chart everything at the office. People who want weeks off, days off, doctor's appointments for everybody so she can keep up with who's going to be there and who's not. She keeps this laying on her desk, flat out on her desk. Sometimes she just has it like this and she can flip it over and see everything. Sometimes she has it full out open. But it makes it good. Well, let me talk to you about when you do mess up on your calendar. Say a date changes and your doctor has decided he can't be at the doctor's office that day because he's going on vacation. You can take a plain address label and cover it up. Cover up the mistake and move it. Now, when you put it on a label like this, they do pull off, but they're probably not sticky anymore when you do. So you may have to make a new label for it. But I love these address labels. And if it's a function that you've got to spend all day with, you can take one of these long address labels like this. This is just like a regular address label that you would use on your Christmas cards and stuff. Watch this. Let me see if I can get this going. You can color code it for the whole family and just mark out the whole day so nobody can schedule anything there because the whole family is going to be with you. And then you can write in here exactly how this all works. These little address labels make me happy because of my perfectionism. Yes, my perfectionism. Sometimes it's a virtue and not many times is it a virtue. But I've learned to love it. I've learned to love my perfectionism because it's who I am. And when I can come up with tools and techniques to let you love your own perfectionism, it makes you love yourself more when you can let go of it. Now, let's talk about the pens and pencils. If you're going to use a pencil on your calendar and just highlight the things, you got to be able to find a pencil. So I would suggest taking some dental floss and wrapping around I don't have a pencil here to write on things, but wrapping it around your pen that you're going to write on your calendar with, and having it long enough that you could use it with your labels. Now, these labels will fit. Now, I'm going to show you why our calendar is different. We don't have a pocket for our calendar. We have a sleeve. You see? The labels will slide right into the side pocket. And you can't put too many put too many in there, because and then you just pull them out and write on the counter. Write what you've got to put on the calendar, and you're good to go. How fun is that? We had a calendar that had a pocket in it, and it kept ripping on people because it wasn't made to stand up to what sidetracked people do to calendars. And the back part of our calendar is a dry erase marker. Do I have a dry erase marker here? I have highlighters, but I have no dry erase marker. But a dry erase marker will write on here. This was the problem with us being late shipping the calendars out, is because this has to be laminated so you can use it as a dry erase, and the whole calendar cover has to be this laminated stuff so you can use a dry erase marker on it. And that's for those times when you got to write some notes real quick and you're standing right there. And that works for us. It really does work. We actually have this calendar goes to the end of December of 2019, and we actually have a January 2020 calendar right here in case you haven't purchased it in the 5-month grace period that I've given you. So you can still write things down here, and then we have the whole 2020 calendar on the back. This is wonderful to be able, and each month we have the previous month and the next month. See? Now, one of my fun ways to, and Justin's already put a penny on February. You see the February? He took that picture for the website. But that gives you sort of a rule on how big the squares are. Now, it's on February the 11th because that's my great grandmother's birthday, and I like to remember her. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is menu planning. Yep, menu planning. So, these little Post-it notes, these little tiny ones, they are the exact size you need for your calendar. And we got this tip from somebody who was really smart. And what she did was cut off the sticky part, just the sticky part, and write on the sticky part what she's cooking for dinner. And she would do her menu plan by placing those stickers all across the bottom of her calendar. That would be what's for dinner. And then she would move them to 3 weeks down the road or 4 weeks down the road. Imagine that. By the time you've gotten through a month, you could have put together 4 weeks worth of stickers, and you can mix and match them and have a great way to menu plan and keep your family organized and keep everybody from nagging you, wanting to know, what's for dinner, Mom? What's for dinner? You're going to know. So if somebody comes home from work or class early, they can actually start dinner because you've got everything there. Now, you could take the Post-it note and do it like this. I'm folding it up to the sticky part. Fold it in half. And then you write your entree here, but on the back side where you could flip up, you could see what the sides are. So it's going to be a salad and a vegetable. There you go. Post-it note ready for planning your menus. What else? I've got some tips here. It went out yesterday, but I want to let people know. I put it in a really small font, so I may have to hold it way out here. The color codes are essential on a calendar because when you color code your calendar, you can see from a distance who's got what today. And it's really good for older people who have trouble getting up and down. They can just look at their calendar. Now, part of using a calendar is developing as part of your routine in the morning, at noon, and in the evening to check your calendar. So, as your before bed routine, part of that is to go look at your calendar and see what you've got scheduled for the next day. And this way, you're going to get it in your head. Now, you may need to make yourself a big note and a dry erase marker on your bathroom mirror. I had a friend who would put a big X on her bathroom mirror so that it would remind her to look at her calendar the next morning. Because if she had a doctor's appointment and it was an 8 o'clock appointment, she needed to see that before she went to bed, and she needed to know the next morning that she had something to do that morning. So, color code your calendar. That makes it fun. We've been talking about use blank address labels to cover up mistakes and changes in the calendar. Don't procrastinate about putting an appointment on the calendar. Now get this. The other day, I was at the hairdresser's, and she gave me my little appointment card. And usually I just stick it in my purse and forget about it. You know what I did with it? I let the girls hold it. I stuck it in my bra so that when I got home and I took my clothes off, I would be in the bathroom and I would put it on the calendar immediately. See? How cool was that? I came after all these years and missed appointments. I finally figured out a way to not forget it. But while I was at Teresa's salon, I figured I'm going to do the last Wednesday of every month unless she's on vacation. And that I'm going to stick to that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to book it through the year. Let's see. What's next? Immediately when you get home, get it on the calendar. Make a rule. If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. You know, if your children want to put something on the calendar, you know, they need to check with you first, but it's got to be on the calendar. Look ahead so you can plan for special events or doctor's appointments. Do you need to fast? How about, think about what's like yesterday. I went to a wedding, but when Tammy was shopping for her mother of the groom outfit, I went ahead and found me something to wear. So I had this beautiful top to wear. And I didn't have to search through my closet thinking, oh goodness, I don't have anything to wear this wedding. I had something new, something that I looked pretty in. It was a little lime green, not really lime green, but a real subtle green top. And I loved it. I felt good in it. But I did it when Tammy was getting her mother of the groom dress. So I thought ahead to that, and I got the wedding on the calendar, and I didn't ask Robert to go with me, but he wanted to go with me, and we had a good time. Now, check your calendar as part of your morning, afternoon, and evening. And this, this gets in your head to do this every day. Oh, I forgot to check my calendar. It's the shining sink of your brain. I love that. Put your calendar in a place that is in front of your family. Some people like to put them right by the front door. Other people like to use magnets. We have some great magnets on our website to hang their calendar on their refrigerator. My refrigerator is not magnetic. It's wood. Got a wood panel. So it probably would, would stick, but I don't want to scar the wood. But some people like to take an old big picture frame, cover it with cork, like cork squares, and you can find these picture frames at junk stores, and there's piles of them. Get an old picture frame, paint it, and put some cork in there, and take the glass out of it, and hang your calendar in the middle of this picture frame. And then you have a place to put a tack to hang a pen, or a little holder to put some pens and highlighters. And it's a beautiful reminder as you're walking out the door what's got to be done that day and who's doing what. Let's see. Allow your family to help you use the calendar. This is teaching them the calendar habit. If you keep your calendar in, I started to pick up my phone and it's right there. If you teach your children how to use a calendar, then they're going to know when they grow up how to use a calendar and not keep it hidden from the whole family. The whole family. And I know there's some great apps out there. Cozy is a great app for the whole family. But seeing it in front of your eyes, in front of your face every day, you can actually picture it. Now, there's one lady I know who takes a picture of her calendar every day and turns it into her screensaver or what is that called? Background on her phone. Right now I've got a glass of lime water on my phone. This is reminding me to drink. But she takes a picture of it, and then she can see exactly the calendar on her phone. There are other people who use the app on their phone that is they send themselves text when they make an appointment. And then they check their text when they get home and they see they got one from them. Or you can email yourself and that'll remind you. Each week, this is the best part. Each week, and preferably at the beginning of the week, like Saturday or Sunday evening, have a family meeting. You're sitting around the table after dinner. I know the kids really want to get away, but put the phones in a basket and let's just talk. Let's think about what is on the calendar for this next week. Get your calendar down. Let's sync all our calendars. They may have to have their phones to do this. But let's think about what the whole family's doing and what your expectations are for them, and get it on the calendar. Everybody get their important things. If there's a play date that's supposed to happen, or somebody's going to a dance or what, let's get it on the calendar so everybody knows what's going on. Okay, when you walk in your door, think, do I have something to put on the calendar? It's like when you cross the threshold of your door, let that be the trigger. Do I have anything that needs to go on the calendar right now? That's why I put it in with the girls, so it would pop up when I changed my clothes and I was right there at my calendar. Make your family calendar fun. Now, here is a wonderful way to keep up with things. You can use your family calendar to chart milestones. Let's say the baby started walking and you chart the milestone on the day it happened. How wonderful is that? I've sent out a testimonial earlier today about a lady who uses the calendar to chart when she buys appliances. And she writes in washer, just like she would for people's birthdays, this grandmother, just like she would for everybody's birthdays. She would write in, like, my washer broke a while ago. I couldn't get it to do anything. It won't drain water. It did it twice last night. So I think Robert's already fixed it. I tried, but I couldn't do it. I found a video on how to fix it, but he must have done something because I heard it go ding. She writes on her calendar when the appliances were repaired or purchased, or when a filter was changed. Sit down with your calendar and sort of think back in the past year, and you can sort of rebuild those things. I know all my appliances in the house were purchased in August of 2000. My appliances are 18 years old. That's my heating and air conditioning unit outside. It's my washer. Well, my washer was purchased in 2002. My dryer, Robert had this dryer when we got married in 96. So it's over 22 years old. Then he has a chart downstairs when he changes the filter on our water, and then he changes the filter on our heating and air conditioning unit when we start running the air conditioner and when we start running the heater. So it's about 6 months apart that he does that. It's a huge filter. So you could get that on your calendar. I also write on my calendar how often I've had my septic tank pumped. So with a family of 2, you would pump your septic tank every 5 years. If you have a family of 4, you might need to, and ladies in the house, you may need to do it every two years. So you can look for those things online on how often to do it. Get those things on your calendar. And then every year when you get the new calendar, you sit down with your old calendar and transfer those things over. Just like you would transfer the birthdays and anniversaries of the people you want to send cards to or buy presents. Now, one thing I want you to think about is on the 27th of each month, open up your calendar, flick through to next month, and look and see who's got a birthday. And get that on your to-do list. Or sit down right there and grab a card and address a birthday card to send to them. Let the 27th be your day to mail cards and do thoughtful things for people. And sit down and, ask your daughter-in-law, is there a party I need to go to? Whatever. That way, there's going to be a birthday. If there's a birthday in the middle of the week, sometimes they have a birthday party on the weekend. Get it on the calendar. And the 27th is your day to look and see if there are any birthdays or anniversaries that you need to acknowledge during the next month. And if you don't have cards, then you can go purchase the cards or get on Amazon and order some cards. I like to have a nice little array of cards here at home all the time. This weekend I didn't have a wedding card, but I had some really nice note cards, and I wrote something wonderful on the card for them. Make your calendar fun for the whole family. Let's say you've been drinking your water all month long. What about giving yourself a gold star every day when you drink your water? So for me, I've been trying to drink 8 glasses of water a day. 8 times 8 is 64, and I don't count the water I drink at dinner, and I don't count what other the water I drink in my chair. This is 8 glasses of water from my bathroom. And so you could write an 8 on this sticker and put it on your calendar. I just like to take a pencil and make a big 7 or 8 or 6, whatever it is, on that day. I also use my calendar. Happy faces are fun too, to see a whole calendar full of happy faces. But I chart my weight every day on my calendar. Yep. At the bottom in little letters is my weight, and I can see if I'm losing or if I'm gaining. I can compare it from week to week and month to month and year to year because I have all of my calendars. Let's see. I've already talked about charting your milestones and family history, but let's think about if the baby says something cute. Write it on the calendar. Kathy's little grandson was watching a video the other day of his grandfather who passed away about a year ago, and his grandfather, it was of him and the little grandson, and he just called him a little, you know what, a little ugly word, but it was a cute thing. Well, that's all Luca wants to say now, and he's getting pretty good at saying it. And so the family is having to be real careful about not saying the little 4-letter word around the little stinkers. Because babies pick up on those things. But she wrote it on the calendar as a milestone. So keeping that calendar, keeping up with dates that if your family is divorced and you have to trade dates around and the kids get to go this weekend, get all that on the calendar. You can make a sticker just for that this is the kids' weekend with their dad. And calendar is an amazing thing. Now let me go back to that situation in Salt Lake City where I met Stephen Covey. Afterwards, we did a book signing, and at that book signing, I had a lady come up to me, and she said, "It's because of you and your calendar that I was able to get my husband from off my back about he would call social services all the time about me and say our child wasn't getting fed properly and everything, and I was able to take my calendar and show the doctor's appointments, our menu plan, everything right there to the social workers. And she just looked at us. She told me, she says, the social worker just looked at me and said, just forget it. I see you're doing what you need to do. Keeping things on a calendar on a daily basis is a record of what you're doing. And it will hold up in court. I know because my husband is a judge. Or was a judge. He's been retired for 10 years. But think about keeping your... I'm thinking I need a very big calendar or maybe a couple of calendars. Well, this calendar has worked for families as large as 10 people. This is a great calendar. This is huge. It's I don't have the dimensions right in front of me. If somebody has the dimensions, they can do it. But I think it's 17 inches top to bottom. And the squares are huge. Now, we've got this 20% discount going right now. And if you want to keep your health stuff separate from the family stuff, then I suggest maybe you get a second calendar that you just keep up with charting your weight and your weight loss and your exercise and your water drinking. And you put that in your bathroom because you may want to keep that private, and that's okay. Keeping up with blood sugar and stuff that you need to take to your doctor, this would be a great way to do that. And you just put the calendar in your bathroom, and it's your calendar. And then nobody needs to see it. It's your private little calendar, but it's big enough to hold everything you need. I keep a pocket calendar. Anyway, Let's see what the last little thing was. Yeah, the last one was the milestones. Keep up with what you're doing too. I know I made some body clutter when I was keeping up with my exercise and stuff. Back when we wrote body clutter, I made a little checklist, and that little checklist was just amazing to me because I knew to just mark things off on it. Well, you can keep up with those things on your calendar. You can make you some little labels for every day that ask water, exercise, if you had your vegetables, because we forget to eat vegetables. We really do. And those little things like that. So think about doing that to keep up with. This may be a body clutter thing after all. So use your calendar. Hang it in a prominent place. Let your family be a part of putting things on the calendar. You can get your children involved and get them to color these things. It took me about 10 minutes. I was being a perfectionist and loving it. Trying to stay within the lines. One other thing you can do, where is it? If it's something that's super important, you can use these sticky flags. And you can flag that day with a color. I usually use the red ones. I use up all the red ones faster than anything because that's for my speaking engagements and to plan to go somewhere. So when I see that on my calendar, I know that is an important date. Flossing teeth is a good to add to your body clutter journal. That's a real good idea. I keep dental floss and these little toothbrushes called Wisp right by my chair. So when I just get the urge or get a bad taste in my mouth, I just whip out one of those toothbrushes and it's all fun. Well, folks, this has been a good little talk for me to help you get your calendar organized in a fun way. Let's see, Brush 707 works to midnight, and then tomorrow's code for the next week is chores, which I hate that word, chores 160. So, chores 160 works today too. Chores plural. So check it out, and that's good to the end of next Sunday. That code is good. Sorry, folks. I had some nuts a while ago, and I probably shouldn't have done that. Anyway, everybody, I lost my voice. I will talk to you later, and get your calendar ordered. It will help you, as they say on Forged in Fire. It will help you get things done. And make a beautiful place to put your calendar. Set up a frame. Set up a bulletin board. Make it your calendar center. Pin a cup up with Sharpies and things that aren't going to leave because those get lost real quick. I didn't bring my water in here with me is the problem. And I'm not going to run and get it because I might not have sound when I get back. So, folks, let's get our calendar started and think about, sitting down. If you haven't filled out your calendar for the whole year yet, sit down and do it this afternoon. Everybody's just kind of quiet and you can have some fun time. Just coloring and having a good time with some stickers because we all got stickers everywhere. Go to the dollar store and get some stickers. Order some stickers. I think I got mine online. I've got so many different. Here's a beautiful church one. I got stars and all. I got glitter stars. Look at that. That's fun. Makes your calendar fun. Have a good day. I may be back later talking about body clutter. You never know. I love you all. See you later.